Hey folks, imagine you're sitting at a coffee shop, your friend leans over and says, "I'm thinking about that new Legion Pro laptop, but I'm scared it'll be a money sink." I get that hesitation. You don't want to drop $2,500 on a machine that ends up gathering dust because it can't keep up with the games you love or the work you need to do. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. So let's break down exactly what you're getting with the latest 2025 Lenovo Legion Pro 5i, where it shines, and where it might leave you wishing you'd looked a little closer before clicking Add to Cart. First off, the category we're talking about here, high-end 16-inch gaming laptops, is a tight space. You're basically choosing between a handful of models that promise desktop-level performance in a portable form factor. The Legion Pro 5i tries to differentiate itself with an OLED panel that hits 240 Hz and a massive 32 GB of DDR5 RAM paired with an RTX 5070 GPU. Those numbers look impressive on paper, but the real question is how they translate into everyday gaming sessions, streaming, or even creative work like video editing. Who should consider this machine? If you're someone who spends most of your free time in titles that demand high frame rates, think Cyberpunk 2077 on ultra settings, Starfield at 144 Hz, or competitive shooters like Valorant and CS2, the 240 Hz OLED screen will actually be noticeable. The combination of a 500 nits panel and 100% DCI-P3 color gamut means not only smooth motion but also vibrant colors that stay true whether you're gaming or color grading a short video. That same display is also a solid choice for designers or photo editors who need a wide color space but still want the buttery smoothness of a high refresh panel. On the flip side, if your primary use case is casual gaming at 1080p, or you mainly need a laptop for office work, the Legion Pro's price tag starts to look less justified. The RTX 5070 Ti is definitely overkill for Fortnite or Minecraft at medium settings, and you'll see a lot of that GPU horsepower sit idle. Likewise, the 16-inch OLED screen consumes more power than a typical LCD, which can shave off a few hours of battery life, something to keep in mind if you plan to game in a cafe or on a long flight. Now let's talk about the processor. The Intel Core Ultra 9275HX brings 24 cores to the table, 8 performance cores and 16 efficiency cores, with a turbo boost up to 5.4 GHz. In synthetic benchmarks this looks like a beast, but the practical upside appears when you're multitasking. I ran a side-by-side test with Photoshop, Premiere Pro, and a game running simultaneously. The Ultra 9 kept the frame rate steady in Elden Ring while the rendering tasks ate into CPU cycles, thanks to those extra efficiency cores. If you're a content creator who live streams while editing, that architecture pays off. For pure gamers who just want to launch a game and play, the extra cores don't translate into a noticeable difference over a 12-core chip, so you could save a few $100s by opting for a slightly lower-tier CPU. Storage is where the Legion Pro really flexes. Two 1TB NVMe drives mean you can keep your entire game library on the fast PCIe Gen 4 SSDs, and still have space for large project files. The real benefit shows up in load times. Shadow of the Tomb Raider loads into its open-world sections in under 5 seconds, and Starfield jumps from menus to gameplay with barely a pause. If you're the sort of player who hates waiting, or you're constantly swapping between games and large software suites, that dual-drive layout is a huge win. The downside is that the 2 TB total is split, requiring you to manage which games sit on which drive if you ever hit the capacity ceiling. It's not a deal-breaker, but it adds a layer of organization. RAM is another point of discussion. 32 GB of DDR5 6400 is more than enough for any current game, and it future-proofs you for the next few years. In practice, you'll notice it most when you're running virtual machines or heavy streaming setups. For a typical gamer, moving from 16 GB to 32 GB won't make a game run faster, but it does eliminate any chance of hitting a memory ceiling mid-session. If you're on a tighter budget, a 16 GB model would still feel snappy, so the extra RAM is an optional nicety rather than a necessity. Thermals are often the hidden trade-off in these high-performance laptops, and the Legion Pro does a decent job here. Lenovo's cooling system, a dual fan, vapor chamber design, maintains the CPU around 85°C under sustained load, which is hot but still within safe limits. The GPU peaks at about 90°C, and you'll hear the fans spin up noticeably. The system is loud enough that if you're streaming a talks how you might want a mic with noise cancellation or a separate audio interface. In a typical gaming session, the fan curve is aggressive but the heat does not cause throttling, so you get the performance you pay for. That said,